All right. Yeah, just to open up, man, my name's Zach Broadaway. Originally, I'm from Arkansas, moved to Mississippi about 5 years ago to take a job at South Panola. So before I got into coaching, I was in law enforcement. I actually joined the military. I've been in the National Guard for about 11 years now. Been everything from a day one private up to an NCO, and then now I'm an officer. Actually, about to make my captain. So, as far as the whole leadership and culture type stuff, a lot of the stuff that I've learned comes from the military, comes from being being a leader in the military, and I try to implement a lot of those same principles over to my football guys. But anyways, I started my coaching career as a quality control coach over at University of Central Arkansas. Steve Campbell was the head coach at the time. Now he's the head coach at South Alabama. Um, and I learned a lot of stuff from him. He is definitely just an embodiment of showing up and just bringing that energy every single day. And he helped me get this job that I'm at now at South Panola. One of the things he told me, he said, "Look, you're a younger guy." He said, "You need to bring that juice every single day, bring that energy." That's kind of the role, the job of the young guy on the staff. He said, "Let the old guys worry about all the scheme stuff and the technical stuff." He said, "You just learn how to teach technique, learn how to get your guys fundamentally sound, and bring the juice every day. Just fight, scratch, claw," was his big thing. And so I really appreciate him for all that he's done. But yeah, like I said, now I'm the linebackers coach, strength and conditioning coach, and the head boys and girls powerlifting coach at South Panola. South Panola is a different beast, man. So I'm going to show you some videos a little bit later. We have a indoor practice facility, state of the art weight room that we just got within the last year. Um, but before I got there, they've won 11 state championships and actually 2010 national champions. The staff that I work with, both my head coach Ricky Woods and my defensive coordinator Chuck Friend are already in the Hall of Fame. And so, I mean, it's one of those things that I just try to shut up and stay out of the way quite a bit, um, and end up trying to be a sponge and just learn from them. So that's helped me out a lot. But so what I'm going to be talking about today, I'm going to start off with a slide presentation that we actually show our football players whenever we are starting a new cycle, or if we're starting our off-season program. We go through this with them, and it just kind of hits a little bit about the different things that you need to be doing to take care of your body, some things you should be doing, things you should be avoiding, stuff like that. I'm going to use that for my first half, try to go through it pretty quickly. And then the second half, I'm actually going to get into some videos of our program. There's some things that we do to establish culture within our off-season program. And I'm gonna go through one of our workouts and kind of show you how we do it and how you could adapt it to do it in your facilities. All right, so with that being said, I'm gonna get started right here on this slide deck. All right, so like I said, Zach Broadaway, looking at training the holistic athlete. All right, so general overview, what we're looking at. All right, it's important that you focus on your athlete's health as a whole. All right, physical, mental, social, emotional, everything. All right, what I end up saying to my guys all the time is that this triangle right here, it is really like a tripod. You can have your tripod to where it's uh, two of those legs are just completely great. So let's say that physically you're in the best shape of your life. Let's say that socially you're a social butterfly. You're out there talking, meeting new friends. You know how to make friends and keep them, all that kind of stuff. You're great. But then as far as your mental and emotional health, that tripod leg is short. The entire thing's going to fall down. It doesn't matter if you're stellar in two of them. If you've got that short leg, it's always going to stop you from reaching your full potential. All right. So whenever something comes, some adversity hits, something's happened, you're going to end up falling. So I really practice or preach, to my guys, hey, we have to look at everything in your life and really try to hone down on some deficiencies that you have, and let's try to find ways to work on them and make them better. All right, so all three three legs of the triangle are extremely important. All right, so starting off with physical. All right, as far as your nutrition goes, we preach to our guys all the time, hey, do not skip breakfast. Whatever you have to do to get a breakfast meal. I mean, come up there to the cafeteria, get something at home real quick, even if it's something small on the run, whatever it is, just get something. We really emphasize that, uh, breakfast is the most important meal of the day. You're coming out of that fasted state where you've been sleeping. And so you really need to get some calories going first thing in the morning, so that we don't get into a catabolic state. All right. Whenever, they ask the question all the time, man, am I eating enough? One thing that I've done with a few of our players is, I had them go through an entire day, just one day with me, a normal day, and take a picture of everything that you eat. All right. And so they'll start off first thing in the morning, breakfast. They'll send me a picture of, the biscuit and eggs they had, whatever. All right. And then for, snack or whatever, they'll have a bag of hot chips or flaming Cheetos or whatever, and a Coke, and they'll send me a picture of that. And then their lunch at school or whatever, so they'll do that throughout the entire day. And then I'll help them to add up how many calories that is. Well, at the end of the day, and I have a slide here in a couple slides that I'm going to show you, that's probably not enough. You're probably not getting enough energy, enough fuel to really feed the muscle growth that we're looking to do. So whenever, they ask the question, am I eating enough? Probably not. All right. You probably need to be getting more. All right. We need to eat for fuel and recovery. So the big thing there is looking at, before you work out, make sure that you're eating food. We always have that guy that, I skipped lunch or I skipped breakfast, whatever it was. And then, they're lightheaded or they're feeling sick or whatever. That's the first question I ask. What'd you eat today? How much water have you had to drink? Things like that is really, really important. So, not only eating for that fuel, but also eating for recovery, that good post-workout meal, to get your muscles going again. All right. And then, of course, I am what I eat. Okay. I use the analogy of an old broke down Ford F-150 versus a Lamborghini. Which one's going to win? Well, obviously, the Lamborghini is going to win. All right, cool. Well, what if I fill the broken down F-150 up? I fill it up with gasoline. All right. And then in the Lamborghini, I fill it up with water. All right. Well, now which one's going to win? Well, obviously the F-150. All right. The Lamborghini is not going to go anywhere with water in the tank. All right. So you can be the most stellar looking, everything, this and that, aesthetic athlete. All right. But if you're putting crap in your body and you're not putting the gasoline that it needs to push that engine to make it work, all right, then at the end of the day, you're not going to be reaching your full potential. All right. So you have to pay attention to what you're putting into your body and making sure that it's the right stuff. All right. I'll look at, these calories right here. As far as that goes, you've got some chips right here that, they're taste good and all that. But at the end of the day, what are they doing to help stimulate that muscle growth that we need for our athletes? That's the exact same 200 calories right there as these apples that have so much nutrition, that have, so much more nutrients, helping you really to perform at a higher level. And plus it's so much more filling. You look at how much more food that is, you're going to be satiated so much faster by eating those apples, as opposed to these little chips. You're going to be hungry again in no time. All right. So, looking at putting the right things in your body, it is harder to get 200 calories or your necessary daily calories. It's harder to get that if you're eating clean foods. But it's one of those things that if you really want to play at the next level, want to grow, want to do the best things that you can right now, that makes a big difference as far as what you're putting in your body. All right, so this is a slide I stole from UNLV. All right, I did add the red box right here that shows basically what a lot of our athletes fall into, that 1 hour to 1.5 hours, 5 to 6 times per week gives you that moderate athlete. And then a high intensity athlete is that 1 to 1.5 to 2 hours, 5 to 6 times per week. All right, so the numbers they came up with, the people at UNLV are a lot smarter than me, so I'm going to trust them with this, right? So their calories per pound, 19 to 21 for that moderate athlete, and then 22 to 24 for that high athlete. All right, high intensity workout athlete. All right, so here's some examples as far as body weight. Being a linebacker coach, most of my guys are going to fall within that 200, 220 pound range. and that means that they have to be eating anywhere from 4,100 calories all the way up to, 5,000 calories, somewhere in there. All right, that's big time. That's huge as far as what we should be doing. All right, whenever I'm up there in the classroom, I teach health. Of course, you're taught, yeah, the standard is 2,000 calories a day. All right, well, that's for a normal, just going to class, waking up, hanging out, whatever. Student, for your student athletes, they need to be eating a lot more. Because they're burning through these calories. And if you actually want to get them in that anabolic state where they are able to build muscle, they have to be eating, like crazy, eating just all day around the clock. That's going to be the only way they get up there. And then, of course, up to whenever you get up to these offensive, defensive linemen, 280, 300 pounds. We had a guy last year who tipped the scale over 400. That those guys, they're going to need a whole lot more if you're trying to maintain. Obviously, you're going to cut it down if you're trying to decrease their body fat. But as far as trying to build muscle, you want to keep those calories pretty high for your smaller guys. All right, sleep. One of the biggest things that I have to fight with my guys about is sleep, lack of. All right. I'll get on Twitter. It'll be midnight or something, and I'll see them still up posting, or they're posting on Facebook, or this or that. All right. Sleep is one of those things that you can't get enough sleep. You really need to try to get as much as you can. All right. At some point, these kids have to make a decision whether they want to be the best PlayStation gamer and Snapchatting their girlfriend at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, if they want to be really good at that, or if they want to take their future football career seriously, and or whatever sport. All right, and if they want to take that serious and really try to do it at the next level, just by getting 4 hours, 5 hours of sleep, your body's not rested. All right, science has proven that your stress levels increase, cortisol increases. All right, all kinds of stuff happens within your body. All right, so they actually recommend that athletes get somewhere between 8 to 10 hours of sleep per night. Okay, very hard to do, especially I know for a lot of us coaches, man. I'm gonna look at that and say, man, whatever. There's no way I'd be able to do everything that I need. But for your athletes, it's very, very important. All right, that 8 to 10 hours of sleep is huge. All right, and actually, if you go above that 10 hours and plus, all right, it's been scientifically proven to increase your reaction time and your reflexes for your athletes. So for a lot of them, that's a huge selling point. Hey, I do need to, do that. I do need to give myself proper rest. And I tell them all the time, while you're sleeping or while you're awake, your body's worrying about all these other stimuli, everything that's coming on around you. While you're asleep, that's whenever your body really gets to relax, gets to chill, and it gets to focus on building that muscle, repairing that tissue that you should have torn up during your workout, right? So, and then obviously if you sleep more, you're going to have increase in energy. And with that increase in energy is going to come increase in intensity and also mental toughness, all right, which is really huge. I tell my guys all the time, you only get one shot at high school football. You can play video games and chase girls on Snapchat for the rest of your life. But, as far as what you're doing, on the field, you only have so much eligibility, right? And then you got to move on. So sleep is huge. All right, we talk a lot about hydration. Your body's 60% water. Those muscles are 73% water. So if you are drinking Coke and Mountain Dew and, not actually hydrating, drinking water and some sports drinks mixed in there, all right, your muscles being almost 3/4 water, that's going to show, all right? It's going to be the first thing that cramps up and is, you're going to feel it. Okay, so that is arguably one of the most important things as far as athletic competition goes, is your hydration levels. All right. I know personally, I take it extremely personal whenever my athletes cramp up in those first 3 to 4 games of the season, whenever it's still hot. Being here in Mississippi, we deal with a lot of heat that goes on for our first, 5-6 weeks sometimes. And so I take it personal whenever we cramp up. You know, we give our kids Pedialyte, we give our kids Gatorade, we, you know, tell them mix water in with it. Don't get too much sodium, don't get too much water to where your you know, sodium gets out of balance. You know, we're really, you know, picky on trying to make sure that our kids are being hydrated and that they're doing the right thing. You know, we'll send them out Thursday night after our walkthrough with Gatorade. You know, all the starters get a Gatorade and a Pedialyte. You know, we do what we can to try to mitigate those risks of dehydration. All right, your sodium levels obviously extremely important because that's what the water binds to in your body. Y'all are coaches, a lot of y'all already know this stuff, so I'm gonna kind of go through it pretty quickly. All right. Your brain is 80% water. So as far as your decision making, how sharp you are on the field, all right, a lot of it has to do with your hydration. You know, whenever your brain is dehydrated, it actually shrinks in size. And so whenever that happens, you know, your decision making, your cognitive functioning goes down with it. All right, there's a huge decrease in that. So with your brain being 80% water, we have to make sure that we are staying hydrated. All right, monitor your water intake. All right, over here, I have our hydration chart. All right, so obviously this is looking at the color of your urine. All right, you want your urine to be up there in the top 3 boxes. All right, at least. Whenever you get down to the 4th one and below, that's whenever we're going to start having some issues. All right, and I tell my guys all the time, you need to make sure that you are drinking water before you're thirsty. Don't wait until you're thirsty and, oh, my mouth is dry, I have cotton mouth. Yeah, maybe I should go get some water. No, all right, you need to be drinking water all day through class. You know, and for a lot of us, that ends up me having to send out an email to the teachers saying, hey, look, you know, we have a game coming up Friday. I have, you know, these football players that have to stay hydrated for it. You know, as long as they're not abusing it and going, you know, all the time, please, you know, if you have a 1 bathroom pass or a 2 bathroom pass type, you know, rule going on in your classroom, please, you know, acknowledge that we're doing this and we need them to be hydrated. All right. As far as drugs, we talk about this a lot. You know, vaping. As far as vaping goes, there's a lot that we do know. There's a lot that we don't know still, since it's still so new. Vaping is probably the biggest thing that we have to fight. We have to combat within our kids. You know, we do know that it's bad for you. All right, anything that you put in your lungs that isn't oxygen is going to end up hurting you. All right, you need to you know, strictly stick to those your oxygen intake, nothing else. All right, those heating coils on these vapes, what's happening is they are actually failing a lot of the times, and some metal particles are being found in the lungs of vaping users. All right. So you know, it's doing a lot of damage. We don't know the long-term effects of it just because they've been around for a short period of time. But I can 100% tell you it's not good. All right. And then as far as obviously cigarettes, tobacco, you know, the carcinogens, the cancer-causing agents that are in that is huge. Tar buildup in the lungs. All right. And then marijuana. All right. Marijuana has been proven to lead to chronic bronchitis. All right, where you're constantly going to be having those breathing issues, you know, decreased lung function, and then even we've seen a lack of motivation. You know, I've seen it in my classroom where you can just tell a difference in a kid where they just literally end up, you know, whatever, I don't care about my grades, I'm just going to do, you know, the bare minimum. All right, they just kind of have that lack of drive. Okay, so that's a big one as well. All right, as far as our mental, looking at challenging yourself daily. All right, if you're a mentally healthy person, you are looking to challenge yourself. You're not trying to just be okay with the status quo. All right, you're trying to do everything you can, go above and beyond. All right, your body can do more than you think it can. All right, take can't out of your vocabulary. Don't you know, don't just sit there and think you know, oh, I can't do this, or I don't think I'm gonna be able to. No, all right, let's try it. Let's do it. All right, set that bar high. You know, one of our coaches always says, aim for the moon. I'm sorry, shoot for the moon, land in the stars. Right. So aim as high as you can, aim as far as you can up there. And then, you know, even if you don't hit your target, you're still landing up there with about where you wanted to be. So that's big time. All right. Be a 1 rep guy. If I'm having to spend 5 or 6 reps to correct you, that's if you're, if I'm looking at linebacker stance, or if we're looking at a power clean. If I have to use 5 or 6 reps to correct you and get you to the standard, then that's 5 or 6 reps that I could have spent on one of your teammates, that we could have spent progressing you going on to the next level. All right, that kind of stuff. All right, so I encourage my guys to be a 1 rep guy. Don't make us have to spend time over and over on you, trying to get you to that standard. Try to learn it that first time. Do it right the first time so you don't have to redo it. All right, and then we encourage our guys to, of course, engage in self-study. All right, emotional. Everybody says it. It's one of those things that everybody really looks at. But control what you can control. All right. There's a lot of things that are going to happen. Refs are going to throw flags. You're going to battle through injuries. You're going to be sore. All right. Just control what you can control. In this life, there's a lot of things that are going to happen to us that are outside of our control. All right. And then, of course, the E plus R equals O type mentality. Your how you respond to it is going to be the outcome that you get. So, just do that. As far as embrace the suck, that's an old military thing that we always say. Times are going to be tough. Stuff's going to be hard. You're going to end up going through, all kinds of turmoil. But at the end of the day, if you embrace the suck, if you show up for those early morning workouts, or you're staying late for practice, or you're putting that extra time and effort dealing with the sore muscles and everything, if you embrace that, man, whenever we're playing for that state championship in December, it all becomes worth it. You embrace the suck, and just understand that it's going to come. And then at the end of the day, we end up doing well. It's all worth it in the end, I guarantee you. All right. And then a lack of discipline off the field translates into a lack of discipline on the field. All right. So what I mean by that is, hey, look, if I can't trust you to sit up there in that classroom and act right in Miss Henderson's math class, all right, then how am I supposed to trust you to run this blitz that we just installed at halftime in a state championship football game? All right. If you can't just sit there and be quiet and do your work up here whenever this is easy, all right, how am I supposed to trust you with the hard stuff? Okay, so that lack of discipline off the field always translates over into a lack of discipline on the field, and it'll end up costing you football games. All right, so we end up going over that. All right, social, we really preach brotherhood, being a good teammate, encouraging your brothers, be the type of teammate that you would want to be, or that you would want to have. All right, so that's huge, and encourage the guys around you. Being like 45 minutes south of Memphis, we do have a few gang issues that, we have to deal with. And so one of the biggest things that we like to tell them is, hey, look, we're the biggest gang on campus. If you can't rely on the brothers that you have, these other 79 guys that are around you and supporting you, then what else do you need? There's no other gang out here that has, over 100 guys from 7th grade all the way through senior high, like we do. And so if you can't rely on your guys, then what else do you need? Your teammates. All right. So we're the biggest gang on campus. All right. And then we're going to talk a little bit more about we don't allow headphones, we don't allow cell phones, and we don't allow any blaring music, crazy music, while we're doing our actual lifts. All right. Now, whenever we get to our competition part of our workout for the day, that's whenever we crank it up. There's a time for the hype. There's a time to really get it crunked up. But, while we're actually doing our lifts, we don't want to do that. All right. The reason is we want our guys to be communicators. We want our guys to be able to communicate. Hey, I need some help with this. Hey, I need a spot. Hey, all that. All right. If they're communicating in the weight room and while they're working out, that's going to translate over to the field, increase that communication there. All right. And then it's going to lead to more progress, more results on the field. All right. So we want our guys to be communicating with each other and, really helping out. All right. As far as programming, I'm not going to get too deep into this, but obviously I like to teach them about aerobic and anaerobic, what the difference is, what those two, really help you out with, as far as being able to play all 4 quarters, having enough in the tank with your aerobic capacity, and then your anaerobic, as far as your sprints and your resistance training, really trying to focus on that. All right. just how we have our workout set up. I'm going to go through an example of it, upper body and a lower body day here in just a minute. But we have our 2 primary lifts that we do every day. So that's going to be your bench, your incline, squat, power clean, deadlift, those core workouts that we really max on, so that we can track that progress, see where we're doing. All right, we're going to have our auxiliary lifts. We're going to have multiple of these per day. Could be any of these, anything from curls to calf raises, shrugs, whatever it is. All right, and then we get into our explosion. All right, explosion is huge. All right, everything you do in football has to deal with some type of explosion, whether you're a receiver exploding, breaking out of a route, whether you're a linebacker exploding down to fill, whatever it is, everything has to deal with explosion. All right, so one of the biggest things that has helped us, we got in the last year, and I absolutely love them. I promise they're not paying me a dime for this endorsement. All right, but the tsunami bars. All right, man, if you do not have the tsunami bars in your program, you are missing out. All right, you are behind the curve, and you need to talk to your head coach or your AD or whoever to get them. All right, this is something that we do every single day in our lifts. All right, the tsunami bar has been huge for our development. So and I'm going to show you a few workouts with our tsunami bars here in just a little bit. But that the bowing action of that bar is just unreplicated. You can't do it under a steel bar, and it translates over so much into what we do on the field. All right, this is pretty much the guideline that we try to adhere to. All right, as far as this, all right, we do a conjugate type program based on Prelipin's chart. All right, so we try to stay within Prelipin's chart. I have adapted it a little bit. It's not strictly to what his guidelines were. All right, but the reason the big difference in the range. All right, so from a 50 to a 65% range. With this, I like to keep this fluid. All right, so I don't have a set in stone. We're for sure doing this 8 weeks out. I'm going to adjust it week to week based on some deficiencies that I see, based on what I think we need to do. I might have gotten on Twitter and seen some awesome new movement with the tsunami bar that I want to try, and so I'll throw that in there week to week. So this kind of ranges. If I see guys towards the ends of their reps or their sets are struggling to get this 65 or 70% of their new max, what we just got, then we'll scale it back a little bit. We might only go to 55, or we might only go to 60 that first week. All right, so this is very fluid. All right, and then as far as our break set goes, I'm going to talk about that here in a little bit as well. All right, but that break set, what we do is we say, try to, you might have those 2 reps there at the end, your very last set of bench. All right, and we start that break set around week 4, and we say, hey, get those 2 reps for sure, 100%. You have to get these 2, okay? But if you can push to 5 reps, try to go ahead and get those 5. Let's go all the way to failure. All right, and doing that with your, bench, with incline, with squat, everything on different days, all right, you're going to end up pushing those guys harder than what they think they can do. And then you slowly increase that up to where we go to failure every single day on one of them, at least to 5 reps. I cut them at 5. All right, and then as far as our standard, our what we call the Tiger standard, our weight room standard, all right, proper spotting is huge. All right, one of the most important parts of our workout is making sure that we're spotting properly. All right, using common sense. If I'm behind a guy and I am, spotting him on bench press, and I'm having to do curls basically for him to get it up, and this is, rep 2, rep 3 of 5 or 6 reps. Look, there's no sense to keep doing that. Don't sit there and keep curling it. Drop the weight. He needs to get those reps on bench. It's not a curl set. So we say that all the time. Proper spotting is huge. Don't just snatch the bar and grab it up and get it. All right, make sure that you're slowly easing it up so that he can, still get a little bit of that work and the reps in. All right, lead with accountability. All right, looking at that as far as, hey, if your teammate that you're lifting with, if he skips a rep, all right, that's on you. He's not just hurting himself. He's not the only one missing out on it. All right, he's hurting this entire team. All right, so you hold him accountable. Make sure he gets every single rep that we have programmed for today. All right, if you don't, that could be the 1 inch that we miss punching a ball in, during a state championship game. That could be the difference in us getting rings or not. All right, so make sure that you are leading with accountability, that you're holding your teammate accountable, and that you're doing what you need to do to get better and get them better so that we get better holistically as a team. All right, don't be an OTP, don't be a one-trick pony, okay? I say this quite a bit. I don't care if you can lift a house. That's great. If it doesn't translate, well, I do because I'm the powerlifting coach, right? So if you can lift a house, yeah, come on, I need you. But as far as football, if it doesn't translate over into, some type of a movement on the field, it doesn't help us. All right. So, we have guys that are really strong, but they can't move. What are you going to do? You're going to be standing next to me on the sideline while somebody else plays. If you can't move and do your job, do what we're having you responsible for doing. All right. So, that's big. Don't be an OTP. All right. One of the things I said earlier, I got from Coach Campbell, fight, scratch, claw, bring your own juice type mentality. All right. I tell my guys all the time, match my energy. Hey, I'm ready to go. I'm sitting on go all the time. All gas, no steering wheel kind of mentality. Let's get it. I've been known to drop down there even 2 weeks ago before we broke for spring break, and then now we've been out for this extended time. One week I had a kid kind of picking on me, one of our offensive linemen, this and that, and I dropped everything and we wrestled right there. All the kids circled up. We wrestled right there before practice. Just knowing that, hey, I'm sitting on go. You got to match my energy. And we got up and hugged it out and kind of chest pumped a little bit. And hey, let's get it. So I'm a high energy guy, especially on game day. I'm a Red Bull drinking crazy dude, but, bring that energy every single day. We owe it to our athletes. If we come in there and we're stale and we're kind of, oh man, it's been a long day, I'm tired, whatever. All right. And they're going to feed off of that energy and it's going to be a bad workout that day. All right. But if you can leave it at that weight room door, walk in there and just get it, go, match my energy. Let's go jump around. Let's, get after it. All right. They're going to feed off of that and they're going to, you're going to have a much better day. All right. Respect our facility, of course, like we talked about, just, doing the small things, picking up the weights, picking up the clamps, making sure everything's racked up before we leave for the day. We always have our guys break it down before they leave the weight room for the day. And I'll be over there walking through the weight room, throwing stuff out on the turf, whether it's some a 5-pound weight or a 10-pound weight, or if it's a weight room clamp or whatever, I'm going to hold them accountable. We're not going to leave our facility that, this school district and our taxpayers have paid so much for us to have. We're not going to leave it looking sloppy. All right. We're going to respect what we have. All right. And then I went over kind of the no cell phones thing. I want our guys to be communicators. I want our guys to, really be able to talk with each other and understand. All right. If we have any questions right now, Coach G, I can take them before I transition over into our culture slides.
Okay. I just opened up the chat, so if anybody has any questions, just drop it in there. As you're getting set up, Coach, if a question comes in, I'll holler at you.
Okay, perfect, Coach. Like I said, I know I went through that really fast, but this was kind of what I wanted to get to more so than all that. But I'm going to send this PowerPoint slide to Coach G. So if you want to sit there and adapt this stuff and put your logos on it and steal it, man, I don't care. Go for it. All right. Because hopefully it'll help your players out a little bit. All right. I'm going to go ahead and get into this. Yeah. So for our weight room culture, all right, one of the biggest things that we look at, all right, as far as our overview, we're going to look at philosophy, structure, summer training, and then I have some videos for y'all that we're going to look at.
Coach, you did have a question just pop in.
Yo, yeah, what's up, Coach? I didn't see it.
No, how do you encourage nutrition and getting your guys to get the right nutrients throughout the year?
It's hard, but as far as a lot of our kids eat school breakfasts and they turn around and eat school lunches. So really, they're mainly eating dinner. We go through this PowerPoint with them. We talk a little bit about, some things that you need to be eating, some things that you don't need to be eating, what you're putting in your body. I just try to encourage that they're eating, things that are natural, your fruits and vegetables, your lean meats, things like that are going to help, be that gasoline in the F-150 as opposed to the water in the Ferrari. That's one of the biggest things, the analogies that I like to use with them.
You good, Coach?
All right. So as far as our overview, we're going to talk about philosophy, structure, our summer training, and our videos. All right. So our philosophy, I want our kids to leave every day understanding that champions are made under the bar. Champions are not made on Friday nights. That's not where championships are won. It's the time right now, especially going through all this COVID-19 stuff. I have had to preach that immensely, because I'm not with these guys every day. I'm not working out with them. I'm not, observing them as they lift. I can't be there to push the pace and bring that energy. So I created a Facebook group page for all of our football players to get in, and I've been pushing out daily workouts to them and just trying to encourage them. Me and one of our assistant coaches, Coach Prentice, we've been doing the workouts with the guys. And taking pictures of ourselves at the end of it, sitting there and having sweat all over our shirts and just worn out, showing them, hey, look, this is important. I'm going to get under this. I'm going to do this with you, because champions are made under the bar. It's the individual responsibility right now, since we can't be there, for you to be doing these lifts that we're doing. I'm not sitting here spending time, every single day developing these at-home workouts that you can do just for my own personal health. I'm doing this for you. If I'm spending this much time and energy to do this, I expect you to, actually go through with it and do it. All right. Test your kids in the weight room. Okay. This is so important. If your kids, if the first time they have adversity is whenever they're under the lights on Friday, they're going to let you down. They're going to, you're going to feel that. All right. They need to be tested in the weight room. You need to get, to find that adversity, find their limits of how far they can be pushed. All right. Testing in the weight room is huge. Our junior high. All right. So our junior high is so important to the weight program that we run. All right. Coach Jamie Easley is our head junior high coach, and he does an incredible job. All right. We're in constant communication, looking at, different things that we're doing. I send him our workouts. He sends me the numbers for our upcoming 8th graders as they're going to be 9th graders. That constant communication with him is just massive. All right. It's huge whenever that transition to varsity football is seamless. What's up, Coach?
Coach, a couple things. Number one, you just have to stop sharing the original PowerPoint and share the new screen. And
okay.
There's a couple questions in here for you.
Okay, let me see. New share. Can you see it now?
I still see the PowerPoint that you just had up there.
Is it the philosophy, the structure?
Yeah, the philosophy and structure. Is that one? Yeah, that's the one you're on right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm
Pop that one on. Yeah, we're good then.
Okay.
And there's a couple questions in here.
Yeah, Coach. Go ahead.
So, Coach said, I graduate in May and I'm searching for a job. What is the best advice you can give for a candidate?
As far as a candidate, just be willing to do anything. Don't think that a junior high job is beneath me, or whatever. Go. It doesn't matter what you've done so far. Just be open to anything, and then be willing to learn. As a quality control coach, I worked on the offensive side of the ball under DJ Looney, at Central Arkansas. And so I was a H-backs, tight ends, super backs coach there. And then whenever we got a new head coach come in to South Panola, he said, hey, would you be willing to learn linebackers? I said, Coach, I want to stay here. I love this school. I love these kids. I'll coach whatever you want me to coach. All right. So just be open to learning new things. It might not be what your top, knowledge is in or whatever, but, just be open to learn and grow as you need to.
From a nutrition standpoint, are you coaching your athletes to get their calories from whole food sources or protein shakes and supplements? If so, what type of supplements are you recommending?
I try to stay away from supplements. The one thing that we do is protein shakes. We will send a letter home with mama that says, hey, sign right here saying that you're good with us giving your kid a jug of protein. All right? And we do that a couple times a year. You know, as far as that. As far as supplements, I know a lot about what I personally supplement with, but as far as prescribing those to, you know, 16, 17-year-old kids, it's just my personal philosophy that I'm not comfortable doing it. And so, you know, protein supplementation is one thing, but whenever you start getting into, you know, other stuff like that, I usually don't, just from a just personal kind of standpoint.
And one more here, Coach.
Yeah.
We have a very small weight room. What would be a good suggestion of how to schedule workouts for our players?
So even with a very small weight room, I'm going to show you our program here in just a couple slides, and I'm going to show you exactly how you can kind of set that up to where even a small weight room, you can do it. All right. What we do is we do groups, and so we have our coaches spread out running multiple groups, and so you can give, you know, we've got it down to where we have about 7 to 8 kids per group, where they're all getting that individual attention. You know, whether they're benching or whether they're box jumping, it doesn't matter. You know, and so we cycle them through our groups to where they're all getting that individual attention, and they're able to, you know, kind of grow and get it. So yeah, I'll get into that in just a minute. Any others, Coach G?
Yeah, one just popped up. Are you all doing plant-based or whey protein? And do you do any? I know you didn't say about giving away supplements or things like that, but do you educate your athletes on supplements at all?
Yes. So as far as supplementation, we definitely open up. You know, I tell my athletes, hey, you know, if you are interested in taking something, you know, send me a screenshot of it. Let me see it first. Let me do some research on it. You know, so that we can look at, you know, some of the side effects, some of the stuff that it might help or hurt, or, you know, if it's really going to help you or not. You know, there's a lot of stuff out there that, you know, they're just trying to sell pills. They're not actually worried about improving that athlete. You know, and so, you know, I'm very cautious of supplementation with my athletes, and I like to, you know, definitely look at what they, you know, what they're putting in their bodies before they go through and order it and get it. As far as our protein, it is a whey protein, mostly for just post-workout, you know, supplementation that we like to use. Not super strict on the plant-based stuff. I try to encourage a plant-based diet, but as far as like an organic, you know, protein, we kind of stick with whey is what we usually do. Any others, Coach? We're good.
Do you guys do a game day meal or snacks before and at halftime?
Yeah, so we always do game day meals. You know, whether it's a KFC box of chicken or you know, whatever. It's not the most ideal stuff, you know, but a lot of the times we have to rely on some type of fast food just because we can go through and get it. We always do a post-game meal as well. For our athletes, you know, a lot of times, like I said, it's either one pizza per athlete, or it could be a Subway sandwich, or, you know, whatever. But yeah, we definitely feed them before and after games, you know, because we know how important that is.
We're good, Coach.
All right, Coach. So yeah, like I was saying, as far as our junior high, you know, it's really important to have that seamless transition over to varsity ball. And then establishing buy-in with our guys. So we break our guys into 2 different groups. So we have our weightlifting group, and then we have our competition groups. And it's really important because what we do, our weightlifting groups are based on what their outputs are, so what their total max weights are, you know, what their total output is. And so we do that just for simplicity, just so we're not having to change a lot of weight and switching back and forth and wasting time. I want time under the bar. I don't want time to be wasted, you know, just switching weight. So that's one of the biggest reasons we do that. And then we get into our competition groups. So our coaches treat it basically like an NFL draft. And we go through and we pick a senior to lead each group. You know, most of the time there's like 6 groups. 5 or 6 groups, and then so we have a senior leader for that group, and then we go through and we place kids in different groups. All right, and that senior is the leader. They're the ones that we're going to go to for anything within that group. You know, whether they have attendance issues, whether they have you know, they're skipping reps or whatever it is. All right. And then at the end of it all, the 8-week program, we end up, the team with the most competition wins and least amount of absences and all that. And we end up rewarding them, with a little $3 t-shirt. It can do wonders for getting buy-in with your kids. They want to wear that t-shirt up there at the school and show it off to all the girls and all that. All right. As far as structure, all right, your athletes want structure. All right, a lot of the times, I know I'm a stickler for structure, just coming from the military, having a military background. But it's human nature. Your players want structure. They want to, to be able to know what's going to happen, know what's going on, have that routine going on, everything set. As far as what we do, we have everything set. I will sit there and say, hey, first man, second set, and then I blow the whistle, and they know that, hey, first man, second set, now you're going. I'll tell them what percentage we're doing, all that. So we're very structured, very controlled. It's kind of a controlled chaos is what I like to describe it as. Everything that we do with intent. We do with intention. We're doing it intentionally. We are purpose driven. It has a reason. So I challenge my athletes all the time. Hey, if you want to know why we're doing something, why we're doing this, why we're doing that, ask me. I guarantee you I've thought about it and there's a reason that we're doing it this way. If you have a suggestion for a better way, shoot it to me. I would love to branch out and maybe try to do it. All right. But we're very purpose driven. I like to do everything with intent, with purpose. All right, and then I kind of talked about our grouping, how we group our athletes. All right, and then the last thing as far as this, and then I'm going to get into our actual weight room stuff, is looking at our summer training. Hey, incentivize your players. All right, so let's say that we have 25 summer workouts. All right, what we like to do is, let's say you make 18 of those workouts. We're going to give you a t-shirt, it says, hey, summer, South Panola summer strength program, whatever, something. If you make 20, then we're going to have the name put on the back of all your jerseys, home, away, alternate, whatever. All right, we're going to have your name put on the back of your jerseys, plus you get the t-shirt. All right, and then if you make 23 out of 25 of those workouts, we do a water park trip every single summer at the end of the year, where, hey, you're going to get to go to the water park. We're going to take you over there, go slide down some slides and have fun with the coaches for a day. All right, plus your name on the back of your jersey, plus a t-shirt. All right, and then I was going to get into the protein powder, but kind of already talked about it. As far as we like to do that as well, just investing in our athletes. It might mean that us coaches only get 2 or 3 shirts and only 1 pair of shoes or whatever out of the budget that year. But it's worth it to see these kids grow and get stronger, and I promise you'll see it transition over into the field. All right, so this is what we usually do. All right, so this is an example from week 5. All right, and this would be a lower body day. Okay, so we have our group numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, and then you can see the coaches who are over those groups. All right, so like here we have Coach Grisham, Coach Mock, Coach Max, Coach Woods, and Coach Friend split these two. Okay, and then with that we rotate our groups. So week 1, group 1 is going to start on station 1. All right, and it sounds kind of confusing, but it makes sense. All right, and then we just rotate them so that group 1 isn't always starting on our core list. Group 1 will eventually be starting over here at some point. All right, so we just kind of rotate them on through. All right, but as far as group 1, all right, right here, station 1. All right, they're going to be doing front squat. They're going to be doing 8 reps at 70%, then 6 reps at 75, 4 reps at 80. And then since we're past our week 4, we're doing our break set. So you got to get 2 reps at 85%. All right, but if you can push to 5 reps, then go get it. Okay, and we're doing that for our power clean, because that's one of the things that we max on. As far as front squat, we don't get a max on front squat. We do back squat. All right, I have tried to figure out what that sliding scale would be, but it's one of those things that you end up, it's not the same for everybody. So what we tell them is, hey, on this front squat, we're going to do 4 sets of 8, do a weight that you can do, or whatever it is, or we might slowly inch them up in a progression. All right. As far as our tsunami stuff, we do a tsunami every single day, like I said. So today over here in the turf, we would be doing tsunami split squat, where they're jumping up and switching their feet every time doing a split squat while that bar is really bowing and moving quite a bit. All right, group 4 over here, we've been doing L cone drill. So we're working some speed, some explosion type stuff, change of direction. All right, and then we would be working some DB dumbbell calf work over here, doing some calf raises, doing just some dumbbell work to really strengthen those calves and work explosion. All right, this will be an example for our day 2. So for our upper body, we'll be doing some upright rows in station 1. Station 2, we're doing incline press over here in our weight room. All right, we have our, again, same percentage, same rep structure. All right, and we're doing break set there. So as we're going through this, I'm sitting here and I'm calling it out. Hey, first man, 8 reps, 70%, and I'll blow a whistle. Second man, let's go. And then, hey, now we're going to 6, 75%, get your weight right, whatever it is. And then working through it. All right. Then down here we have tsunami bench with our 5-5-5s. What that is, of course, that tsunami bar is moving while you're lifting it. So what we do is it's called 5-5-5, where we'll go down, up, and freeze, and then you're going to let it ride out. Down, up, freeze, down, up. You're going to do that 5 times. You're going to freeze at the bottom 5 times. So you're going to start, come down, it's moving. All right, up, down, it's moving. Up, down, it's moving. All right. And then at the end, you're going to speed for 5. So every single set, they're doing 5 reps. All right. And so they end up doing 15 reps per every single set, 5, 5, and 5. And that's one of the best as far as explosion and as far as working a lot of those little stabilizer muscles, all right, that we've really found out. All right. Up here, group 4, we've been doing some position specific movements. So again, we have our groups basically set to where, with that output, max output, they end up kind of grouping by position. All right. So we'll end up, having a lot of times linebackers and running backs are grouped together. Your wide receivers, DBs end up being grouped together. Your O-line, D-line end up being grouped together. All right. So you can kind of do some position specific movements out here where you're having, maybe your linebackers work on scraping and filling, maybe having them working, opening up 45-degree angle, whatever it is. That each one, you might have your offensive lineman working pass sets or, drops or whatever. All right. And then over here, we have just some sprints that we're working to work that explosion. All right. And I have a few videos now that I'm going to show you real quick. I know I'm kind of running low on time.
You're good, Coach. And there was a question with the with the stations.
Yeah.
How much time per station roughly?
What we gauge that off of is looking at basically what those core lifts are doing. So everything is kind of predicated on our core lifts. We want to get stronger before anything else. And so what we end up doing is, if as that first guy is getting done, I'll call second man. And then second man goes, as that second man's getting done, then we move on to the next set. We do 4 sets every day. And so we predicate that time. We don't have a set like 5 minutes, but the pacing you end up catching that rhythm. And with your coaches being at every station, they end up doing really well.
Okay. There's a couple other questions here, Coach. What kind of workouts would you suggest for 7th and 8th grade?
As far as that, what we do, we don't really try to load them up and do a lot of weight with them. What we really like to try to do is focus on building that form and just really telling them that the weight is going to come whenever you keep maturing. So I like doing your Olympic lifts with them. I like benching and squatting and power clean and doing all that, going through your clean progression, starting off with a deadlift and then teaching them a hang clean and then teaching them, just going through that entire progression. But I don't like to really load them up and really try to break any records with them just yet. I like to know their form is going to be solid.
How much Olympic lifting do you do with your athletes? I guess throughout the course of the year.
We mostly we don't do a lot of clean and jerks, a lot of stuff like that. Well, I've had way too many shoulder injuries to really start doing stuff like that. I like more of just the power clean bench. Of course, we squat, we deadlift, things like that. That's what we usually stick to as far as our core stuff.
Here's a really good question. What's the percentage of attendance you get in the summer workouts with the incentive-based system, and how many days a week do you do it over the summer?
So we do 3 days a week. We do Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. And my coach really likes to do 7-on-7, doing stuff like that as well, getting our athletes out, moving and working. And so we're also installing our offensive and defensive, sets and schemes and everything. As far as our attendance, we see really good attendance. So I'm blessed. I live in Oxford, but I work in Batesville. Batesville's a really small town. And there's just not a lot going on. And so these kids, they're either going to be sitting at the house playing the game, or they could come up there and be with their buddies and work out and, do all that. So the incentives definitely work. You don't want to be that one guy that, you're starting on defense and you don't have your name on the back of your jersey. That's one of those things that, it kind of shows everybody like, hey, you, at some point there was something going on. You weren't meeting that standard of what you should have been doing. That's probably the biggest incentive. The t-shirt, of course, goes a long way, but as far as that name on the back of the jersey, that's huge for these kids. And then of course the water park, they all have a good time doing that. But no, if we didn't do it, I would think there would be a drop. But we've done it every single year, and we have a great turnout. We don't have much attendance issues at all.
How many days?
It's optional. We can't force them
Right.
to show up, but there's ways you can incentivize it to happen. All right, go ahead, Coach. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. How many days per week are you hitting each body part, and how does in-season strength and conditioning differ?
All right. So in season, we don't like to load it up quite as much. We might go to 85%. I know a lot of coaches disagree with that. They want their guys to continue progressing and going, up until, where they're maxing, they're hitting that peak around playoff time, and I like for my guys to be more explosion days. I don't want to, end up injuring anybody. But as far as our in-season, off-season, that's the main difference. We do more explosion type stuff. We kind of scale it back a little bit as far as our, workouts. Whenever we're in off-season right now, we'll do upper, lower Monday, Tuesday. Wednesday will be a run, explosion, high competition day. And then Thursday, Friday, we'll do upper, lower again. So we're doing, kind of a two-body split and doing explosion stuff and, movement stuff every single day.
How do you split up training anaerobic to aerobic systems when it comes to movement?
Everything we do is we're training for football. I don't like to get out there and tell my guys to go run, gassers and go run, 8 miles around the track or this or that. We're never going to do that on the field. A lot of our training as far as anaerobic, sprinting, explosion type stuff is focused on, just looking at things that you're going to mirror, things that you're going to do on the field. We want to try to duplicate that as much as we can, because that's going to be what we need, on Friday night.
And what is your teaching progression for hang cleans?
Hang clean, I like to start off with a deadlift, get it up into that solid hang clean position. And then I like to do basically a upright row. Where they pull it up with their hands a little bit wider, of course, upright row. And then I like the flip and catch, because kind of a 3-step where you're setting it with your elbows pointed forward, having a strong wrist position, everything's locked in.
Good.
All right. Let's see, you're gonna have to tell me, make sure you can actually see these, Coach.
Gotcha.
Let's see. Man, there, no. Sorry about that.
No, you're good.
Okay, can you see this now?
No. Did you share? Did you hit share?
Share, boom, boom.
Yeah, now you're good.
Okay, all right. So here, this is our facility. Like I said, man, we're extremely blessed to have this facility. But this is just an example of what we do on a daily basis. All right, so as you can see right here, we've got our tsunami. They're doing what we call tsunami bounding. All right, they're going up and down, trying to explode, drive that knee up to the ceiling is the coaching point. All right, and they're just constantly going back and forth. All right, over here we have box jumps going on. So again, working some explosion type stuff. We've got pro agility right here, 5-10-5. All right, and again, a coach is at every station, so you're not only getting that buy-in with the players, but they're also building relationships with these guys, regardless of what side of the ball they're on, regardless of what position they coach, anything. All right, you just heard my command right there. Here we go, second man. Second man, now they're doing deadlifts. All right, and on the back, we've got some squats going on. All right, so we've got a coach at every station, and they are everybody's actively engaged, actively coaching. All right, here's another one. So we've got some dumbbell lunges going on. Over here we have deadlifts. All right, this is probably my favorite thing to do with the tsunami bar right here. All right, so you can see this guy right here. What they do, we teach them to cock back, get knees bent, everything right there low. All right, and you can see this ninth grader right here, this kid, explode out and really make this tsunami bar bend. All right, this is the most football movement that we have in our repertoire. All right, that is huge. Good stuff right there. All right, working some battle ropes. You can see our coaches actively coaching, getting it. All right, match my energy, bringing that juice. All right, it's big time. All right. Coach Vint was on earlier in the week. I got to watch his. He said one of the biggest things they like to do in the weight room is break out a camera. All right, so that we do that all the time. Whether it's a coach sitting there recording on his phone, like our running backs coach is doing right now, who I got this video from, or a lot of the times we'll have one of our student managers come through with a camera. It doesn't matter if there's an SD card in there. It doesn't matter if there's a battery in it, if they're actually recording anything at all. All right. As soon as they see that camera come out, man, they are absolutely wanting to give it their all, go 100%. All right. So what we do at the end of the day, whenever we're done doing our cycle, our workout that I just went through with y'all, that usually takes about 30 minutes. So it's quick. And we're getting a lot of work in a little bit of time. For our last 30 minutes that we have with our guys, we do a competition. So it could be a relay like you'll see here, or I'll show you some chicken fighting, some stuff that we do at the end that's a lot of fun. All right, so here's a relay we do. So they have to either start with the football or start with the dumbbell, depending on where they started. You'll see them doing that transition. They'll have to grab the football, then turn around and pass the football off to their teammate. They'll have to go down and get the dumbbells and then pass it back. And again, you'll see right now, I've got the music going. You can hear the music in the background. We've got it, cranked up and rolling. Right now, this is one of those times where we're not as worried about communication, worried about max effort, going and getting it. All right, so there's a time and a place for the hype. All right, but we definitely put the speakers to use. All right, and again, we've got coaches spread out, encouraging, fighting, yelling at them, trying to get them going.
Coach, it was noticed that in some of the football movements, you use some light blue attachments that the bars were connected to.
Yes.
Coach was just wondering what those are called and where could they find those?
Yeah, so we got everything from Carl Middleton. He's with Total Strength and Speed. He got it, but those are basically just like cloth straps. Basically, they're just these blue straps that you hook the tsunami bar into, and it allows you to fully extend it, obviously, without having to worry about any grip issues. But yeah, no, Carl did all of our stuff. I can shoot you his information on Twitter or whatever, but he got everything for us, and it's been absolutely awesome. I'll skip this one since y'all have already seen that. I know I'm running low on time. There's just another example of a competition. This is just like a little line drill basically that we do. All right, and then we get into the fun stuff. All right, so we will we'll do stuff like this where, hey, we're going to chicken fight. The rules are anything, your arms can touch the ground. Anything other than your arms touched, you are disqualified, though. All right, so this is Cam Wright right here. He's one of our kids. He's got about 10 D1 offers right now. He's going to be huge for us next year, wide receiver, versus one of our 9th graders, man, who he's going to be a dog too. He's one of our DBs.
Chicken fight, baby. Anything but the arms touch the ground. Cam got it.
All right, so again, with stuff like this, you're building that teamwork. All right, you've got guys holding their feet. They've got to be able to count on their teammate to help them out. All right, and it's stuff that we can do that's pretty safe, but we're competing and we're trying to, again, show them that adversity before we hit Friday night. All right, here's our one of our starting running backs versus our starting defensive end. You'll see that fight. That's what we want to see. We want to see them compete. We want to see them fight. All right. And then we'll do some fun stuff with them too. So this is on a Friday, and we have them roll. All right, and man, they'll come up looking crazy. Having to control their body. They won't be going the right way anymore. They'll come up dizzy. But it's just a fun. All the kids will be laughing. Laughing at each other, having a good time. They're working, but they don't even know they're working. So we like to have a good time with them and really, try to test them at the same time. All right, Coach G, that's all I have.
You got a couple questions here, Coach.
All right, Coach. Then
along with the incentives, have you ever experimented with giving players some type of makeup work for not attending summer workouts?
Yeah, so we do, like I said, we do Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday is our days. Our head coach, he lives right there close to the school. And so what he'll do is on Wednesdays, he'll go in and he'll offer makeup days. So for if kids, couldn't make it to one of those days, let's say they're going on vacation or whatever, they will end up, getting that opportunity to make that workout up. So that's one way that we do it. And I, go ahead and program that out as well. But that's really their only makeup. We set that standard and that's it. If you miss that day or you just miss it. I'm not going to put your name on the back of your jersey if you didn't hit the days that you need to hit. That's not fair to all the guys that did show up. So we really do hold them to that standard.
And then how much do you train acceleration versus top end speed?
We do a lot of acceleration training. So, a lot of that explosion, that burst is what we want. So sometimes, there will be times that we'll just do 10-yard sprints, and all we're really focusing on is that jump, that explosion out of your stance. That's one of my biggest things. What I consider to be one of the hardest workouts that we do is 10-10s. And as long as you're giving max effort and you're really doing it, we're not really hitting top end speed at 10 yards, but we're focused on that. So we do a good mixture of that. We do.
Deal. Does anybody else have any last minute questions for Coach? Yeah, I think we got him on, Coach. Yeah, that's his contact information, guys. Make sure you follow him on Twitter. Reach out to him via email if you have any questions. I know he shared a bunch of stuff today. I believe he said earlier that he'd be willing to share any of this information if anybody needed.
Absolutely, man. Y'all just shoot me a message, shoot me an email, do whatever you need to do. At Coach_Bway on Twitter. Yeah, man, I'm willing to help however I can. I'm definitely not a guru by any means. No one's ever called me one, but man, I know a little bit enough to be dangerous, and I'm willing to share what I have.
There you go. Well, we appreciate you coming through, Coach. Obviously, like I said before, it's the first strength and conditioning talk that we had, and you definitely, no pun intended, but you definitely set the bar. So it was a great informative piece, and I'll definitely be hitting you up about some stuff too.
Man, Coach, I appreciate it. Hey, and thank you for putting all this on, man. I know that this has taken a lot of time and energy and effort to do, getting all these coaches and coordinating it all and everything. So, man, thank you. This being a progressive, forward thinker like that is huge, Coach. And I'm glad that you gave us this opportunity. I've learned a lot this week from these other guys.
No, I appreciate that. And once again, man, it's all about us together as a coaching community. You know what I mean? Just pushing forward. I mean, I do believe that as an entire community, we're so much better than we were last week and the week before. And it's because you guys are willing to come in and give these talks, and coaches are coming in willing to learn. Like, collectively, that's where we're making it happen. So props to everybody that's been involved. So, and once again, guys, this one, along with every other one, is going to be on the drive.